You are now witnessing a meeting of the Tinfoil Hat Society. Our meetings and our topics are held in secret. The truth has been used against you. We have gathered here to explain the unexplained. The men in black will not stop us.
Record.
So they
This
must
is
have been listening to that conversation to shut us down. But hey,
this is the Tinfoil Hat Society with your host David Stafford and Josh Time Weimer. Somebody tried to shut us down. We don't know if it was the Men in Black, or the Deep State, or
I think it's deeper than that now. That's another show,
we don't
especially
know.
with
That's another
internet and
show.
digital technology
But
and everything.
what we were talking about earlier is this show was about Area 51.
Yeah,
And you were before we got shut down, you were talking
yeah.
about the I believe it was 2017 or 18. I know I should know that right now, but there was a storming
Oh,
of the
2019, actually.
19, excuse me, it was
Yes,
way
sir.
off. Okay. Well,
That's
let's
okay.
start with that.
Yeah, so I can say that I did not attend the 2019 Storm Area 51. That was quite hilarious over Facebook
Allegedly.
at the Facebook group that started that.
Yeah, it was
And
definitely so I've researched this. I didn't put down the date, but yeah, it definitely happened. It was a Facebook group. It was started by some guy, but you're absolutely right. Go.
Oh yeah, so they apparently 2 million people said that they were going and 1.5 million people said they were interested. But I was not a part of that at all. So I didn't go. So, but anyway, let's go back to the original question about what's Area 51? What do we know about it? The only thing
Okay.
that we can know is what we've seen on TV. There's documentaries, TV shows, there's anything you can find on the internet. It's on multiple conspiracy theory shows that you can find on
Mhm.
what it actually was. I do know it was built in 1955 as a part of Edwards Air Force Base, which is in Nevada. I think some people confuse that, think that and Roswell are connected, which they kind of are, but they're not in the same area at all. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's in. We can go into the conspiracies of, Area 51 was a place where they were testing different kinds of airplanes and things like that that were definitely not possible technology that we may not have had at the time. We don't know.
Okay.
So,
Well, where do you want to start with this? Because this is really
well,
broad range of things, and I have
yeah,
a bunch of things I want to talk about, but
sure.
maybe we would talk with you, or we could start with me. It's up to you, my
I,
friend.
I think I think because of Area 51 is such a massive on the list of all the conspiracies in the world, it's on the top of one of the most massive ones. That
Yep.
is
Yeah,
one that we're going to
100%.
talk about multiple times. It'd probably be best just to hone in on a couple of things, probably what you have, and we can just go over those.
Okay, well, let's start with the so in Roswell, New Mexico, that we
Mhm.
brought up on previous episodes, there was allegedly a downed aircraft that some people say were that was a balloon or maybe a UFO. So in UFO lore, the crashed aircraft left Roswell, New Mexico and went to Roswell, New Mexico, or excuse me, to Area 51 to reverse engineer what's going on in that aircraft. I will tell you my ideas at the end of this on what I think about that. And so that's essentially what we know about Area 51. But um, how we know about Area 51, and I'll get into that. Maybe so let me ask you this question. Do you know who Bob Lazar is?
Yes, I don't know him personally, but yes, I know who he is.
Well, I don't know him personally either.
Well, I mean, these days you have to be very clear and concise.
I definitely
Um,
do not I definitely do not know who Bob Lazar
I don't
is or
know. I don't know him
any
personally,
of his
but
people.
I've watched his Netflix documentary.
So I was gonna watch that. I'm a big fan of Jeremy Corbell. Shout out to Jeremy Corbell. You're doing some crazy stuff, and I really appreciate it, and everybody really appreciates what you're doing.
It's entertaining.
So Jeremy Corbell made a documentary about Bob Lazar, which is called Bob Lazar, UFOs, and Flying Saucers. And it's about an Area S4, which he alleged that he worked at, that he was reverse engineering the propulsion system of a crashed UFO that had been, when you say crashed UFO, he alleged that it was um, that it wasn't from Area 51, that it was an artifact from some kind of dig, kind of like the movie. Why can't I think of the movie right now?
I have no idea.
Yeah, Stargate. Like
Oh, there you go.
basically like the movie Stargate. The beginning of Stargate is basically what Bob Lazar is talking about.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that movie? That's what Bob Lazar is talking about.
Yeah.
Um, and so um he brought this up. I believe it was like 93, 94. I every time we do this prime time, I always mess up my dates. Because I didn't think I was gonna have to like say the dates of this, but so yeah, it was somewhere around 93, 94 that he gave it to I believe it was George Knapp. His essentially what he said happened there. And as still the CIA did not acknowledge that that place existed. The we reference it in every episode so far that we've had together, but the X-Files. In the first season of the X-Files, um uh
Yeah. Yeah. I just watched
Mulder
that like 2 weeks ago.
Mulder goes to uh Area 51 and sits outside and tries to watch like what's going on. Just because if you listen to Bob Lazar, he basically would sit on like a mountain top and take his friends, and they would get like messed up and watch whatever aircraft launch. And in the episode of the X-Files, which I know I always bring this up, but like go back and watch these episodes. Any of you people that are actually listening to me, go back and watch these episodes because they are gold. Because like that's exactly what he's doing in that episode. He goes and watches these crazy aircraft taking off because that is essentially was a test place for the U2.
Yep.
It was a test place for the B2. The U2, for the people that are out there that don't know, the U2 is a spy plane. I'm not going to get into what they do. The B2 is a bomber, and it was we call it the Batwing. I'm not going to get into what it is, but that was where it was developed at. Um, what do you think, one at a time? You go now.
Well, I mean,
I
you were
think I
talking
gotta
about
tell
the
you some more
X-Files
stuff.
episode, and all I can remember is just seeing Seth Green high off his gourd in that episode.
I was gonna bring that up. Look, it is 100% Seth Green. I would have we'd have to Wikipedia this, but like it's definitely one of his first appearances. But it's definitely him, and he's definitely high with like a girl. And
Yeah,
then Mulder shows up and sees these two high people looking at these weird aircraft.
yep, yep. And they took him out to dinner to the little, probably the Alien, which is off the extraterrestrial highway. Um, Probably a diner that's supposed to be similar to that. And there's,
Oh, and get into that. Yeah.
yeah,
I wanted to talk about it's on my nose. I wanted to talk about the extraterrestrial highway and the black mailbox. I
yeah.
feel like you know way more about that than I do. And I mean, the only thing I know about it is from the movie Paul, which is one of my favorite movies ever made.
The only, I don't know a whole lot. I've never, unfortunately, went out there to see it, and I wish I did.
Well, so
When
while you're
I
talking,
lived,
or why are you looking it up right now?
yeah.
So while you're looking that up, one of my favorite, all-time favorite teachers, if you're out there, you know who I'm talking about. You're my science teacher from high school. He went to the extraterrestrial highway and he went to the black mailbox, and I think that is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. And he posted on Facebook. I'm not going to put his name out there, but he definitely did it, and that is super cool. I wanted to do it. Pretty close to Nellis Air Force Base where I've been to like a bunch of times, but yeah, go ahead. Why about it? Why I'm
So
past.
yeah, I had to refresh my memory on the blackmail. So I guess it was just kind of a place where people would meet up, um, to UFOologists or UFO hunters would meet up because of its proximity to Area 51, and I believe it is along the extraterrestrial highway, which I had the state route wrote down, but I don't know where I put that note because I wrote it down last week.
Oh well,
But yes,
we were going to get into it before somebody killed us, which was obviously an outside entity. But you were going
obviously.
to talk about the storm, the Area 51
Hmm.
thing that was on the internet. Would you bring that up again?
I thought we already talked about it.
Oh, did we already? Oh, sorry. Anyway,
That's okay.
um, well, so okay, so coast to coast, right?
Yeah.
So we both are big into coast to coast. So Coast to Coast posts a lot of things on their websites. And several years ago, I think it was around 2017, 2016. You said that was in 19, right? I'm sorry,
What
yeah. I'm
the
good.
storm the thing?
Yeah, that was
Storm
you
Area
said that was
51?
in
Yeah.
19 or something. So
Yeah.
somewhere around 16 or 17, they were posting a lot of videos. You can go back and look at them. And that's what I wanted to bring up. It's on my notes. Um, So there is videos of people trying to go to Area 51, and
Yeah.
they always get turned around. There is what they call in UFO lore, they call them the camo dudes
Yeah.
that stop them. There is actually if you can find it, I tried to find it the other day when I was researching all this. I tried to find it. There is a video somewhere out there on the vast uh, sea of the internet where there are what do tours that people do around Area 51 where they get you in a car and they take you down that road. I don't know what road it is. I've never been down that road. I've never been to extraterrestrial highway. I've never been to the black
Mhm.
mailbox. But there is that road that these tours will take you down. And there was a tour that they videotape and they were taping and they passed this. There's a sign that says do not, basically do not, a military installation sign, do not pass this, whatever it says, right?
Yeah, you're
And they
trespassing sign basically. Yeah.
essentially, and they pass it, and the guide knew not to pass it because he would take him basically to the sign and then go backwards. Well, he was talking during this. This is what he says. He was talking during this, and they went past that barrier essentially. Well, they get pulled over. They all get arrested, and you see these people. There's a bunch of videos on the internet.
Mm.
Why, like we always talk about on our past videos, I say like the internet is the greatest thing and the worst thing. There's a ton of videos. Maybe maybe half of them are real and half of them are not. I don't know. Um, Maybe they're just going to a bunch of sand in Nevada. I don't know. I've never been there. I will tell you, we never bring this up in um what I actually do, but I have been close to there. I've been to the base in Nevada that is close to there, Nellis Air Force Base. Um, However, I've never been to there. I mean, the like again, the CIA hasn't even ever said it was even a thing until 2013.
Hmm.
Um, uh, well, you go. I was ranting for a while, so
That's all right. No, you're just talking. I mean, I just remember talking about Seth Green being high, and then then we totally just.
yeah, yeah. And I totally went on. I'm sorry, I went on a total rant, and then and sometimes I just like start talking, and I apologize.
That's okay.
So
No,
so let's rebase. Tell me what you think about it.
I mean we have every right as a government to have a secret base to test equipment that we don't want
Mm,
enemies seeing. And I
completely
know,
agree.
yeah,
And by the way, you people out there, you definitely need a base that you can test things. I don't care what you people think. Yeah, by
mhm,
the people for the people. No, you need a base out there where China. And whatever other country you don't like doesn't need to be able to see your stuff. I don't care what you people
Hmm.
think, they don't need to see it.
Yeah.
Go.
So you take that and this it's just like, well, you put the conspiracies in it. I mean, conspiracies are going to happen with anything that's secretive. I mean, just that's just going to happen. Now, when it comes to something like Area 51 and the Roswell story and all the other stories and what people have claimed to see around the area, I mean, sure, it adds to the story. And while I'm not a firsthand witness, and maybe I should go out and sit out on the road by the black mailbox, and maybe I'll see something. Maybe I won't, but it
Oh,
takes
and so
time and
so
money
um
to travel. So
I think that was one of the things about the Black Mail's box is somebody saw
mhm.
something around that.
I no, I
Because
think
I've read
somebody
a
just
go ahead.
it never really. I don't know if it really. I don't even know if it because I think just recently I read somebody had stolen it anyway, so it's not even there right now.
So I've read a
But
bunch of things. Like I've read that like it was just some guy's mailbox that was on the extraterrestrial highway, and like they had saw something by it, and people kept taking pictures and putting stuff in his mailbox, and like I've heard so many stories. And again, I always bring this up, and I'm gonna bring this up in our podcast that the internet is vast, but there's a lot of crazy people out there, and they post a lot of crazy things and there and nobody is always right. I'm sorry.
mm-mm. No, and it goes back to what I'm saying. Like it's okay to, I think, question things. I think you have a right to ask the questions, but at the same time, to take those questions without any factual evidence behind it, if you can even get that factual evidence, you're just going to be considered crazy unless that does come out something is true. So
I always wanted to call like I was into metal. I always wanted to call a metal band the Black Mailbox.
the
Thought
black
it
male.
thought it'd be cool. So let me go down. What do you know about Bob Lazar?
Other than what his story is, and a lot of it was that he did work in Area 51. I believe he worked for the team for the Skunk Works. If
Area S4.
was that?
And he allegedly worked. So Skunk Works is a subdivision of Lockheed Martin, and
Hmm.
there was he did not allege that he worked for Skunk Works. Skunk Works
No,
is a whole subdivision that does like top secret aircraft, and we're
ah,
not going to bring that up on this podcast. Is we're going to leave it at that.
all right. Well, from what I know about Bob Lazar is what he's said in like his. I read some stuff in a book one time, and it just the documentary and just what he was saying that he allegedly saw in Area 51 where he saw alien aircraft and he wanted to bring it out to the public and didn't care. So,
So I wanted to bring up something. Unless you wanted to bring up some stuff before I do.
okay.
So there's something called Janet. And Janet is apparently a civilian aircraft, passenger aircraft company that flies out of Vegas that flies into Area 51. Have you heard about
Hmm,
this?
I have not.
It the there's you can research it again on the internet. It is called Janet, Jantet. There's a bunch of different acronyms for it, but essentially, Janet is a passenger aircraft. It takes civilians from Las Vegas, Nevada, to Area 51 to work every day in the morning, and then brings them back in before nightfall. And allegedly, that is the workers that work at Area 51. Which, if you thought, if there's um, you know, um, government entities that work there, they probably wouldn't live there. So
Hmm.
it makes a lot of
That's
sense.
true. Yeah, interesting.
There's definitely a hangar that has a aircraft that leaves out of Las Vegas, Nevada, that has no side numbers on this passenger aircraft that leaves out of Nevada that goes to Area 51. You can link this up. It's definitely a thing. Um, Do you remember around the time that you and me met back in the day? You've been my buddy forever. You're my homie. So Google Earth. Let's talk about Google Earth. back
Okay.
in the day, you could not Google Earth Area 51. Couldn't.
No. Mm-mm.
If you look on the internet, you kind of can now.
Mm.
Google that place. I don't know. Before I remember, so I used to work at this place, and they this friend I had was like, "Hey, what's Google Earth Area 51?" I was like, "Okay." It was all black. It
Oh,
just looked like a giant. There was it was blackness. I mean, I can't really put into words like what the shape looked like, but and there was like lakes and stuff around it, but like it was essentially that area, you know. Um, but so there's people on the internet, and again, we always talk about how the internet is a vast thing that posts all kinds of crazy stuff about what's at Area 51. And I will tell you, this is one of the things that was sent to me recently. There is a gigantic pyramid at Area 51 that has the Eye of Hortus, Hordus. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know.
I,
What do you think?
I have no idea. I mean, sure. So it's a Stargate. There's a Stargate there. Is that what they're saying?
Um, I
Inside
do.
the pyramid is
So,
the Stargate to takes you directly to Egypt or something.
so again, I don't get too much into that because
Mm-mm.
there's so many crazy people out there. And again, previously on our last podcast, the world is still a sphere. It is not flat. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, um, so Area 51, by the way, is in Rachel, Nevada.
Hmm.
Did you know it was in Rachel, Nevada? I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. Next to Groom Lake.
Um,
And the airport on there is I think called Homey Base too or something like that.
you're my homie.
Homey. They got a base. Homey.
Okay, so I'll go into this aspect of it. It's in my notes. So allegedly, Bob Lazar said he worked on propulsion systems, and he was back engineering. Can you tell our listeners what back engineering is, and then I'll go into it.
Well, it's just the best way to tell the average listener how that is think of the movie Independence Day, where they get a
Yeah,
spacecraft
definitely.
from an alien race that it's a physical spacecraft, and you take that technology and make it into something else. So if you want to take their propulsion systems or whatever, because it's definitely more advanced than ours, you kind of figure out how it's worked and use what we have material wise and see if you can get the same thing out of it. So are we using
So
that technology now? Let's look at it this way though. And here's something I like to bring up once in a while too, is when we talk about technology and of possible extraterrestrial race and how our civilization has progressed so quickly, and how some of our technology is just how it is now. I mean, we grew up with rotary phones and not even we didn't have the internet,
rotary
or
phones.
we didn't have the internet. We didn't, I mean, Atari was like amazing when it came out. Now look at the video games. Now look at everything. Everything's with microchips now, and it's so quick. And we
Bob
have
Lazar
robots that
actually
can go in your
referenced
skin.
that fiber optic came out because of it. But go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
But yeah, but I mean, there's so much technology came out so fast, and how we continue to innovate so quickly, and it's just amazes to me that they were able to do that. So I mean, could have came from technology that we found or something. I don't know. Or are we? It seems weird to me because yeah, we have some smart people out there, but look how the world is today. You just look at it, you're like, man, well, we might be smart, but we're really dumb. Like of everything else that we're doing. So
Mm, I want to get on that at the end of
yeah.
this session. I like what you just said. And let's put that in our pocket, and we'll bring it out at the end of this because that is a something I do want to bring up about this,
Hmm.
and I want to bring up the Manhattan Project about this too, because that is one part of this. Um, um, so Bob Lazar said that there's basically like an anti-gravity drive that
Mm.
he was working on. And I've talked about this in recent episodes where, like, if you have anti-gravity, like, you're not worrying about any kind of form of space acting against you. So like you could be able to move, but you just need some sort of propulsion to move with that, and which my brain doesn't understand. But you're not having any negative entity acting against you.
Mm.
So that's the part I don't understand, is like how they move on top of that.
Yeah.
The tic tac is a thing with that. When you talk to or when you see these videos with Commander David Fravor,
Hmm.
retired, when you hear about him with the tic tac, like he knows like about how aircraft move and everything, and he didn't understand like how the physics of like how it could go from like so high up to so high down in seconds without breaking the sound barrier, essentially. Because like if you're gonna go like 1,500 miles up and 1,500 miles down without breaking the sound barrier, like you would have to have some sort of outside entity stopping you from being able to, essentially a force,
Hmm.
which I know I just went way outside of what we're talking about, but like that's what they're talking about doing there. Um, uh, so there's a lot of stuff that we can't talk about with that place because, and what I don't like about it is like how secret it is, and some of the things I want to talk about with it, I can't and I won't. Um, However, I don't actually think there is a alien spacecraft there. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't think
Yeah.
there is. What do you think?
I it's fun to believe in stories like that, but I don't see that either. I mean, there's been nothing to prove to me that, like I said, the evolution of our technology, like how can we not have something at that point in time in the 60s even? I mean, we did go to the moon, or is that a conspiracy?
Allegedly,
So yeah, I mean, we could have had the technology
which is a
to do what
whole
we're doing.
other episode that you didn't want to do, but we should do someday,
Yeah, yeah,
about just the moon and the moon
yeah,
landing.
yeah.
Because
Well, I'm gonna cut all that out because we don't need to talk about that right now. But
oh no, no, we're
um,
not talking about it right now. We're just
no,
gonna say that we were talking about.
yeah.
So it's one of my favorite things to talk about because like oh, and let's get into this.
Mhm.
Again, I was thinking about this as I was researching this. We just brought about another Will Smith movie. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
And one of my favorite quotes of all time is in Independence Day, where he says, "I could have been at a barbecue."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, But Will Smith is in Men in Black, which is a whole different episode. And go check that out if you haven't. And Area 51, he's in a movie called Independence Day, which is
Hmm.
the best movie literally ever made ever.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
But
Bill Pullman is the best president of all time in any movie ever.
oh, I wasn't prepared to answer that question, so I will have to take leave on that for a minute. But
Okay.
no, you're right. And then if you, I mean, we did touch base on like Hollywood and TV shows. We bring up the X-Files constantly because, well, I always, I like I said before too, it's like if they keep putting things and hiding it in plain sight, then how do we not know that's
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
real?
Hmm.
So when we or they put things out so much because they want you to believe that it is fake, that maybe it really is real too. So if we consistently tell you lie after lie after lie, but it's actually a truth, or the other way around, which confuses people even more. But when you watch a show constantly about, let's say the Hollywood just keeps putting alien movies out, and then, well, if an alien invasion ever happened, we wouldn't be surprised. We're already conditioned for it. Zombie
Absolutely. Yeah.
apocalypse, and an asteroid crashing in the planet. Thank goodness they were,
Oh, asteroids, a whole other conversation.
yeah, and thank goodness they were wrong about the end of the millennia, and then was it year two? what, the 2K bug or whatever that was, Y2K bug. Glad they were wrong
No,
about
and
that, and I'm
then
glad they were wrong about the Mayan
2012.
calendar. Yeah, the Mayan calendar thing. They were wrong. I mean, but that made some money for Hollywood.
Well, you know what always bugs me now that you're on this is the people like, oh, Nostradamus predicted what's happening right now. I was like, Nostradamus predicted so many things in every century I've ever been in. They're like, Nostradamus predicted. It's like, well, it didn't happen. I'm sorry, we're still around.
Yeah, well, he had how many predictions, and like one or two of them are going to be right. So I
But
don't
I
know.
don't. That's kind of like the segments where I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what Nostradamus said because none of it has come to fruition.
Yeah, and if it did, it just the way he was good at he's good with words, so he can construe things, and you can put it together and like, wow, this is something he said. It really relates to it. It even catches into the Simpsons. The Simpsons
Oh wow, yeah,
conspiracies.
bring it up, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They
So how they
predicted
predicted
Donald
Trump to
Trump,
win
didn't they?
president.
Yeah,
Was that?
okay, we both said it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You owe
Yeah,
me
the
a
whole
coke.
Trump thing. Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was just saying all this stuff. I mean, every time there's a big event, somebody pulls up an episode of The Simpsons. Hey, they predicted this one too, and it's like it's a lot. There's a
I
lot
will
of things
bring
in The
up
Simpsons.
on the side like The Simpsons has been going too long. It was going. Is it done? Are they? It's
I
still.
don't. No, they still make. I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah.
Why? I mean, I haven't watched an episode of The Simpsons since like
I don't.
'97 or something.
I don't know.
Like, who's still watching that? I don't know.
I don't know. I have not
It's kind of the way I
watched an
feel
episode.
about South Park. Like, I love South Park, but I stopped watching South Park in like I don't know,
Yeah.
2011 or something.
Yeah, I don't know who watches
At
stuff.
least 10 years ago. 100%.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't hear anybody even talking about it. I mean, maybe
No,
it's just the
exactly.
younger
Yeah.
crowd now or something. I don't
Mhm.
know.
And
But I
it's
remember
people
when
like
South
us
Park came
that
out.
like, hold on to the past, which is what we're doing right now. Holding on to the past.
Because it was way more fun back then.
Ah,
These kids
yeah,
these
well,
days don't know how good they have it.
mm, I mean, things are pretty awesome now. I just think so. Here's the thing, man. I mean, I'm gonna go completely off script right now. Not that we have a script anyway for you conspiracy realists to think that we're on a script because we're not on a script.
No, we're just
I'm
here
gonna go
talking.
off the script. It's like things are pretty awesome in America. I don't care what any of you people think. First off, the Earth is a sphere. It is not flat. And second off, America, do you remember one time I told you about 20 years ago, maybe 15? We're not gonna like put a time on it, but I remember we were at your apartment back in I think it was Wiley, Texas. I don't
Mhm.
remember exactly what city you lived in. And I told you I was like, this is a utopia. Where we live in is utopia. And anybody that thinks that we don't live in a utopia is just crazy. The fact that you and me can say what we're saying right now is a utopia. Completely out of subject, but still, the fact that we can do this right now should put in anybody's mind that we live in a utopia.
Yeah, well, that and the fact that you can lock your door. That's something that people are like, what are you talking about? I was like, you live in a country where you can lock the door and nobody's allowed to come in without your permission. And the government can't unless they have a search warrant or they have reason to come in. But that's
That's
that's the thing that a
bull.
lot of countries don't have either. They have just demand to come in whenever. There's no laws preventing
Oh,
that.
that's actually one of the amendments that you can't have illegal search and seizure. And there's a,
Yeah.
I don't remember what amendment. And you we're completely off script. Not that we have a script because we don't have a script. But there is an amendment where like essentially soldiers can't come into your house and
They can't
legally.
corner. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we use so that like cops can't come in your house and like illegally search and seizure. Like it all comes off to the basis of that. And that's why
Yeah.
like a lot of people I think now don't understand that the Constitution was really important. Completely off script, man. We went from Area 51 to the
Let's
Constitution.
just be honest, because Area 51's boring. I mean, you can only talk so much about it
It's
until you
only
can
so
talk about it.
much. Yeah, so
Yeah.
much. Yeah. I would like to go. So I always wanted to go on the extraterrestrial highway and go down and see the black mailbox. Just like okay, so let's talk about the movie Paul. Have you ever seen it?
I've seen it once, and it was a long time ago.
Great movie. It's basically about Area 51 and the black mailbox and the extraterrestrial highway.
Sorry, I had a pocket Constitution, and I can't find it. I was looking for it.
Do you have a pocket constitution?
Yes,
Some people have pocket constitutions.
no, I have a strong Constitution, but I
Oh, you
also
have a
carry a
strong
pocket.
constitution.
I also have a pocket Constitution.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah, you should
Very
be.
impressed, Lifetime.
Yeah,
Very impressed.
you got to know your rights. It's important.
No, I do know my rights, which is
A
a
lot of people
whole
like to just
other.
throw them away.
Well, that's a whole other conversation.
Well, that's not a
And that,
conspiracy. That's true.
oh,
Anyway,
he's looking for his
hey, dude,
constitution
the,
right
the
now.
thing about this show is just like we talk about constitutions.
Oh, we
we
have
talk
4 minutes remaining.
Oh yeah, we talk about conspiracies, right? And that's what we're get into. But it always comes back to the way the world is now. And that's what's really
Mhm.
funny. It's how because truth is a hard thing for people, like a hard pill for people to swallow, if you will. There's so many lies out there. I mean, constantly lies, 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 lies. So you hear a lie so much it becomes truth. And I think it's really important to ask questions. If it's a conspiracy, there's probably a reason why, and we should ask questions about it. And
Mm.
also, if you hear the truth, it's not out of hate, it's because it's factual and you should accept it. So that's
I did.
that.
I just heard a different thing out of your mouth that I want to bring up right now.
Okay.
There is 3 minutes left.
Hmm.
Um, I would like to do an after episode on just random stuff if you're down for it. I think that you said it takes like 5 minutes after this to do it, but are you down for that?
I will. We can talk about that. Let's clear up this show and then we can talk about it because I have to cut all this out in the audio. In the audio,
We don't have to cut anything out, but yeah, why
I
don't you
do because it
clear?
sounds like garbage. If I don't, it's really bad.
Okay, well, what do you think? Why don't you end it one time because you are the best host of all existence.
Yeah, that's because all of my podcasts have been so successful. I think one time I had 1,000 subscribers when I talked about beer and wrestling. Anyway, um,
Which sounds really awesome. We should talk about that too.
it was fun. It was a fun time.
Beer
But
and
no, I mean
wrestling? Wow.
beer and wrestling. Yeah.
Like wrestling or wrestling? There's a big difference between wrestling and wrestling.
No, not where people were the plum smuggling things. It's the show wrestling,
Palm
professional
smuggling.
wrestling,
What'd you just say?
plum smuggling.
What's palm smuggling mean?
No plums. You're smuggling grapes.
Are they? How are they smuggling it in their butts?
Oh, they're leotard.
Are they smuggling in their butts, Weimer?
Have you ever seen a high school wrestling match, sir?
I don't want to see if they're smuggling things in their butts in a high school match.
It's
I'm sorry, Weimer. I don't want to see
the
that.
sad thing is when you get it, you're gonna feel dumb.
Hmm.
They wear leotards, and all you see is the grapes.
Hmm.
Yeah, never mind.
Weird. All right.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
let's end it. So, but anyway, so we talked about Area 51. We thank everybody for listening to the show. I'm going to add another portion to this when this one's done. We're going to have some random
Hmm.
conversation about some things. So stick around. And yeah, we know nothing about Area 51 and it shows. But hey, we have a hell of a lot of fun talking about it.
Hell of a lot of fun time. America first.
Yeah. Well,
We are now recording.
got it. Hey, wow.
Yeah, boy.
Yes. Yeah, boy. So, yeah, just man, just having the conversation and how what's cool about our what we do is like, hey, what are we gonna talk about? And
Yeah,
we like
I
spend a
love
week.
that. I love that we get all over the place. I really do. I love about that.
I just hope people that sit here and listen to us talk do the same thing. Like to hear where we go. And I just know they're probably like, you're not talking about this or that, or if anybody's listening. But if they are, it'd be nice, hit like on Spotify for us and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you think we're complete idiots, tell us. It's okay.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah, can I mean, I get told I'm a complete idiot all the time. It's not a big deal. I don't care.
Yeah. So,
Um,
but no, it's cool. I like to know people are listening, and then if anything, it's fun to talk about these topics, and it's we take things with a grain of salt. We're not always super serious. We're not super I mean, we're not scientists or
one of the things about you that I've always loved about you as being a friend of mine is you always like question a lot of things like sociopolitically, politically,
yeah.
and you always like challenged a lot of like the things that I believed um at an early age. I was in my 20s when you're talking about this, and I was like, "Nah, I don't know, man. And
Mhm.
now like I'm talking about
Yeah.
it more than you are. Um,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate that aspect of you. Like, you were talking about this about a lot of stuff a long time ago, and I was just like kind of scratching the surface, but you were like straight into it, like you were in. Yeah. I can't remember which one of us taught each other about coast to coast. Did you teach me about coast to coast, or did I
I
teach you about coast to coast? Because I've
I
been
think
listening to it forever now.
yeah, I mean, I know I was listening to it back when I was in Ohio, so that was definitely before we met. I think I don't know if we introduced it, both listening to it, then realized we both listened to it, and it became like a thing. Like,
It might
oh,
it might have been a
you listen
thing
to that
because
too?
like we used to like drink a bunch of beer and be like, let's listen to coast, and we'd be like,
Yeah.
oh,
I mean, I'm not
what's
up that late
and
anymore, so but
yeah,
but yeah,
and
we
like
we
back then that you could like type in their website like what's going on. I remember like we've talked
yeah.
about this in another episode. Like we would type in what's going on with these like super volcanoes.
That was actually a topic I wanted to discuss at some point too, was the super volcano, but I'm not prepared for
Oh,
that
that's
right
what
now.
that mean. What's going on in Yellowstone? This super volcano
Yeah, man.
ready to pop.
There's something I saw an article just recently about that too,
Yeah,
where
that like again, that could be a whole other episode, bro.
oof,
Okay, well, so
hopefully it's
what
still
did you
there.
um so we talked about a whole broad range of topics earlier. What did you want to talk about?
We were all over the place, man. I don't know. What do you want to grab from that and just keep going on it? Would probably be
Well, I mean, like you said, like obviously none of us work there, so we don't know what's going on there.
no.
We talked
And
we,
like
we got all the way to the Constitution, which is like, man, that is some broad stuff. And
mhm.
some very political stuff, which is stupid on the same aspect that you're going to get political about the Constitution because of the aspect of our whole existence here in America. By the way, if you think that you should like take away from that you're crazy. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. I yeah, I don't know. I couldn't find my pocket constitution to answer some questions.
Your pocket. I did bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but
Um,
like, gotta have a pocket constitution. Like, what if you get pulled over? Technically, checkpoints aren't technically legal.
well,
So,
that's a whole other conversation.
if you just look at it constitutionally, but states have their thing, federal government has their thing. It's all different kinds of things, and
Mm,
there's some things you want to ask the questions of. But this day and age, let's talk about that and how. I'm not going to ask any specific questions per se, but if there is something that people find offensive or just in complete disagreement with what you're saying, it becomes an issue. It becomes a big issue now that you're considered like a hateful person, or you, the whole what they call cancel culture or whatever.
mm,
Um,
mm,
it's something they just shut you down or talk bad about you, or who knows, maybe somebody does watch this, and maybe it's something we said,
mm.
and like this guy here, and then they get us pulled. And I mean, even the
Well,
even the media.
well, I think like I don't know how you feel about one time, but like I'm trying to not put politics in this.
No,
Trying not to
I
put
don't
my
think
my
it's
person. I don't think we've put any politics really into any of this.
no, and I wouldn't even, and that's the thing, is
Yeah, I
I don't
know.
consider myself political, but you kind of get drawn
Oh,
into
I
it no
get
matter
it.
what. I don't know.
Um, and I completely agree with that. It's funny. We brought this up earlier.
Yeah.
And I brought up we talked about the utopia talk, and you used to be so much more political than I used to be.
Yeah.
And now I think I am way more political than you are. Not that as a not as a like a
Yeah.
race or anything, but like it's
It's a
not a part
pissing
of like
contest, Dave.
it's not a contest, and it's not like that's a part of
No.
like like our friendship or anything,
Yeah, no.
or anything that we like really get into to this at, but like there is a lot of things. I mean, like obviously, the world is what it is, and I hate saying that. Oh, by the way, I want to bring this up. I because in our previous episode, I hate when people say that the world is flat, and I'm going to bring up just like the world is not flat; it is a sphere. When people say it is what it is, that's not a statement. I'm sorry, it's not a statement. You're basically just stating something twice. That's not a
Hmm.
statement. I'm sorry. You're not stating anything. You're just trying to um put something out and trying to be educated when you're really not. You're not stating anything. When you're like, "Oh, it is what it is." Okay, what exactly is it? I don't know. It is what it is. Like, well, you didn't say anything. What are you stating? Well, no, it is what it is. But what was the context of what you're stating?
I've used that context to get somebody to be quiet because of a situation that occurred that's completely out of my control and out of my hands, and nothing I can do about it. It happened because it happened, and it is what it is.
That that mm, that still does prove what I was stating. Like you're
Well,
not stating.
Well, this depends on the situation. What happened? Well, that's what it is what happened. It is
But you didn't
exactly
state
what it
that.
is.
You just said something twice though. You're not stating anything.
Well, then let's say your conversation is it. Whatever you just said,
Mm.
okay.
I'm gonna go back to what we were talking about earlier. Like
Yeah, because this whole is what it is thing, what the heck is that? Come on.
we really don't know anything about Area 51. We really don't know anything.
No, and no, dude, you're gonna be completely honest. Like I said, we're talking about conspiracies. It's a huge conspiracy on the top of the list of conspiracies. It's way up there. It's up there with JFK. It's up there with, um, whatever, everything else. There's a huge list of conspiracies, and it's up there. And we have, as any conspiracy theorist or anybody that's out there that's researched it, has already found everything they could possibly find about this place, unless more information comes out of
Allegedly.
it. Well,
Allegedly.
no, I think
Allegedly.
any story you can find. Black
Allegedly.
mailbox is that a legend? No, it's there.
Allegedly.
Well, actually, no, it is stolen, so it may not be.
Allegedly.
Fine.
I can say allegedly about anything we say right now. So I think I
Yes,
win.
I would. I'm going to keep things clean. Anyway, um, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, let's keep talking so
But
people
you can
don't
say
listen
that.
to the
You can
show.
say allegedly, but like that's what's so stupid about um I mean, I love podcasts, but like people can say anything on these things and it's just say
Absolutely,
allegedly
of
after it.
course.
They can
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, I allegedly the Earth is flat," which
Yeah.
is Earth is not flat, allegedly.
Well, and the crazy thing about podcasts is some people listen to these strictly only to get their information. And I remember talking to people in the past about the news. They would watch the Daily Show on Comedy Central to get their news.
Okay, well, all right. So let's just get into that. So news, like where do you get your news? Let's get into
Okay?
that.
Just peruse the internet here and there. But if I hear something big happens and I want to look at it more, I'll do a search for it. I don't watch
Um,
the news.
they
Maybe the
I
morning
think
news.
since 2020, um, now the majority of Americans now believe news institutions will less than they've ever have in the institution of that in America.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's actually it's ridiculous actually. And
Mhm.
um, rightfully so. I mean, they're not. I don't believe they're saying anything right anymore. And I probably shouldn't say that, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's the general consensus, I think. I don't think people watch the news. I mean, older generations still do. I don't watch the nightly
Um,
news. They used to be a thing.
let's get into this. Since we're talking about random stuff, What do you think about guns?
What?
Uh,
Do you
so
have the runs? What are you saying?
I said guns.
Well, we have a right to them. What?
Yeah. So we got into like a crazy tangent earlier about the Second Amendment and
Oh,
or no about the Constitution, but what
mhm.
are your ideas about the Second Amendment? Because like we're not going to get into why that's a thing right now, but like what are your ideas about that right now outside of the news?
I mean, that's just one of those things that you don't talk about because you're just gonna get yelled at.
Why should you get yelled at about something that's in the Constitution?
Well, I don't know. You ask all the crazy people to yell at you about it then, because it is what it is.
Yeah, but those crazy people have people that are strapped that are security guards telling you that though.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's true.
No, I mean that's my problem with a lot of these things. They're like, oh, you shouldn't have this. I'm like, well, the person protecting you has it.
Well, we could talk about it in this way. There's conspiracies about this. We could talk about it as the conspiracy about the government wanting to take guns away. We could talk about it in that situation, not my own personal
Yeah,
beliefs.
let's go into that. Yeah.
Okay. So if you talk about what conspiracies I've read and seen is that every time there's a mass shooting, every time there's something that happens, the
Mm,
the government is quick to bring up these issues and want to restrict more and more and more until it gets to the point where they can take those away, which in turn conspiracy theorists claim that that's one way that the government can then come in and take complete control over society. That's a conspiracy, not my personal belief. So that's one thing that's out there. So which is
I mean,
crazy.
I
But
don't know. I would like I don't know how you feel about one time, but I don't want to personally say my personal beliefs into it, and I don't think you just
well,
did.
it's a conspiracy talk show. It's like we're discussing conspiracies. Nobody gives a shit about my personal beliefs on anything, to be honest. Nobody's listening to this show anyway, so it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
I'm listening to you right now, though.
Okay, thank
I
you.
mean, here's the thing. Like, um, you should be able to defend yourself no matter what.
Yes, you have a right to.
If somebody breaks into your house, or you don't, I think you live in an apartment or something right now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I would hope that you could defend your apartment right now.
Mhm.
Um, if somebody broke into my house right now, like it would be over and quick. I mean, but here's the thing. Like, a lot of people say like, "Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that." When it comes to like self protection, you know what they say is the best home defense is. Do you know? Do you know? You
Dog,
actually know?
a dog.
You're absolutely right. So a dog is so law enforcement, any law enforcement, no matter what it is, even the people that you pay a shit ton of money. Oh, I cussed. I'm sorry. Um, a ton of money to you pay for your home defense. Like they will all tell you that the best defense is a dog.
Hmm.
100%. Not
Yeah.
even joking. That's it.
No,
Like
no, I've heard that. Yeah, it's truth. Yeah.
you have a dog right now.
Not well. I would not say. I don't know. Not currently.
Rest in peace, Frodo.
I know. No, and I don't plan on getting one until we don't live in an apartment anymore.
But yeah, that's
Plus,
a whole.
dogs are expensive, man. Jeez.
So my little so I have a dog right now. He is a rescue dog, and he's a Catahoula mix, that we got in South Texas, and he's the best dog I've ever had, and I only paid I think I paid 190 dollars for him or something.
Hmm,
Well,
nice.
but that's with his shots. But that was from a rescue. But you're gonna pay like ridiculous amounts of money. And he barks at the mailman. When the mailman drives by, he barks at them.
Yeah.
The mailman, the UPS man. the FedEx man, the Men in Black. He
Your
barks at
dog barks
all
at
of
him.
them.
Yep.
All of them.
Good dog. Good dog. But yeah. But no, you're absolutely right, though. I mean, everybody, you should have a right to protect yourself and your family. So, yeah, I mean, that's just I don't know how anybody would disagree with that. So, they do, they're just weird.
So you don't own a dog right now.
No, I don't have a dog right now.
Oh, not even a cat.
I don't like cats.
I have a cat right now. I have a cat.
That's great. Saw
I
a
have
cat today on my walk. I saw a bobcat today.
no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
From your walk across the street from your work
No,
to
I walk the nature trail every morning before work.
you walk a nature trail. How do you walk a nature trail in Dallas?
You drive down the street to it, park, get out, and walk it.
I'm gonna have to visit you. I didn't know there was like nature trails there.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
impressive.
Well, it's very rare for someone to see a bobcat in the wild.
There's actually like really close to where you're at right now. There is a cemetery that's really really old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I went to it once. There's a whole other like we're not gonna get into paranormal stuff. We said that like we're not gonna do paranormal stuff in our podcast, but
No.
yeah, there's some weird stuff going on there.
Hmm.
Not paranormal because I don't believe in that. But
I don't know, man. It is what it is.
um yeah. Um well, I think we're gonna end this. I'll
Yeah.
call you here in a second.
Okay. Well, thank you all for listening. If you made it this far, and y'all will have another show soon. So have a good night.